What's up, A to Z Sports on a Friday, heading into another big football weekend. College football slate just keeps getting better as we get it further away from those the bye games, the pay-for-play games, and into league conference play. And the NFL Week 2 has already gotten going with the Packers beating the Commanders last night in Green Bay, but a couple injuries on both sides in that one. But the Titans are hosting the Rams on Sunday in the Nissan Stadium season opener, and the first real game for Cam Ward in Nissan Stadium on Sunday at noon. And we're talking about the injury update here with JC Latham going ahead and spoiling it. He's out. He's not playing. We'll hear from JC Latham in the locker room, and something that I think surprised just about everybody that happened in that open locker room session yesterday. We'll talk about what the Titans' best options are for the right tackle as well. We got a lot to get into when it comes to JC Latham's impact and him being out of this game, what that means for the Titans' offense as a whole. Then we'll get into where the Titans had the best advantage and where the Rams had the best advantage over the Titans. All of that before we get to good news on a Friday. So get your good news ready and put it in your back pocket. We'll use it here in about 50 minutes to an hour to send us all to a big-time football weekend. JT, what's up? Tell everybody what they got to do.
Yeah, good morning. What's up, A to Z crew? Good to see all of you in here. Good morning to the likes of Andrew and Scott, who said good morning in the chat. We already got people in here talking about the possible replacements for JC Latham and which one is the least bad is the moral of the story there. And not trying to spoil it, but it's going to be tough out there. But we'll get into all of that and more today on the show. Exciting first game at Nissan Stadium for, like you said, Cam Ward. Good morning, Matt. Says he haven't been on the show in months. Better have a better week than last week. Yes, the Titans must have a better week than last week. If
Matt, where you been? Where's Matt been?
Hey, they're coming back. It's probably not the greatest time to come back, but hey, we're glad that you are here with us today. Excited to get into everything.
All right, let's do it officially. Welcome to A to Z Sports here live on a Friday. I'm Austin Stanley. He is JT Runke. We're powered by BTA Sports and Analytics, beating the sports books out there together. Also, got to make sure that you all know that we go live every weekday morning around 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Link to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. You can hit us up there at A to Z Sports. Hit them also on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. You can leave us a 5-star Google review, if you will. That helps out our company as a whole. And now to thank our sponsors because they help us out as well as you. Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process. WilsonCountyHyundai.com, the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. Help them help you, the local team there. Botero Carts, life is short, buy a golf cart. 2 locations to serve you, Columbia and Gallatin, BoteroCarts.com. And Window Nation, buy 2 windows, you get 2 free and no payments for 2 years, only in September at WindowNation.com. So JT, it's been an interesting go over the first, week for the Titans offensive line. We expected it to be a much improved group from the seasons before, with Dan Moore coming in at left tackle, flipping JC Latham, who had a solid rookie season, back to his college position at right tackle, and then the upgrades across the middle of the offensive line with Zeitler and others, and Cushionberry back. But it was a tough go against the Broncos, mostly because JC Latham went out in that game and struggled to protect Cam Ward. Let's hear from JC Latham on yesterday's open locker room.
How long has it been lingering, I guess?
It happened that first week of Atlanta, or the first day, Atlanta joint practice. Didn't really know about it. You try to kind of power through everything. So, it just made it worse. Thought I was good to go by the game. I felt amazing when the game came, and then a couple plays in, things just started to happen. So it's pretty frustrating to do.
Is it a pain tolerance injury, or is there something you can do?
It's just, it's a strain, so you really can't really do anything. You take all the treatment and all the medication that you have all the take to make it get better and reduce inflammation. But that's pretty much it, though.
Is it one of those things where if you were an interior player, like a center or a guard, so it's not just a lateral movement issue? It's
like extending and contracting back in. So like whenever you do anything of that nature, it's one of those type of.
What's a week like, JC, when you're not able to practice, trying to stay up to speed?
I'm still taking the approach mentally that I'm, a starter. So, I try to get as much film this week as I was last week. Taking the same approach. Our coach has us do an intricate film book study guide that we try to do all the time, and so I still try to get as much of that filled in as I can as if I'm actually playing. Eat right, make sure my weight's where it's supposed to be at, lifting, everything like that. The only thing that I'm not doing is just playing, so everything else stays the same.
Yeah, so you're out this Sunday?
Yeah.
He wasn't supposed to say that.
No.
He was supposed to say, Corey Curtis, so you're out this weekend.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, right? It's like
exactly.
Literally like
it's
we'll
hard. And yes, so for context, and this was like from Easton, like this should have never happened. Like, and as Tall Texan says, I bet his coaches are very pissed. I'm sure they are very pissed.
Yeah, and so
at this, and so is PR
yes.
and everything else that he is sat down before the media is allowed to talk to him, and I'm sure what they're telling him is, "Hey, man, don't tell him that you're out. Like, don't give them any injury designation." And what does he do? He just peer pressured out of him right there in the media scrum. Like, it's crazy.
But it wasn't even like that pressured. It was just a simple question that was like,
no.
So you're out. He's like, yeah.
And
then the Rams were like, huh? What? Oh, because the Rams were going to find this out eventually. They're going to find it out probably today or Sunday. I don't know what the Titans would have done if they would have done the whole questionable designation on Friday afternoon and then find out an hour and a half before the game when inactives come out that JC Latham would be inactive, but he is out. And so Jeffrey, here we go. See, this is what we do again. Here we go. Or Callie is so oblivious he didn't tell JC not to say anything. No, JC Latham messed up here. And this is a thing where JC Latham was prepped. He was told what not to say. He was not made available for media after the game in the locker room or Wednesday, right? Yes. So it was a wait. It was don't let the media talk to him. Like media rules, if somebody has an injury that's ongoing, they're waiting to find out more stuff. They are not open to the media or available for the media. And so, no. So, Jeffrey, here we go again. Oh, my gosh.
Curtis says, do they get media training? He was literally trained and prepped 5 minutes beforehand, before this conversation. Like, yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can do there, really. It's up to him.
Throw your hands in the air and be like, what the heck? Like,
exactly.
We just talked about this. MB says, what's the big secret? I'm pretty sure the Rams aren't sweating bullets over this nonsense. I mean, they know an extra, 3 days ahead that JC Latham is not the right tackle, and they get to
don't have to watch that film. Can just get to the Oli Udo or whatever else film. Like, don't have to watch that. It is a
shortcut. It's a shortcut situation here. No, you're not blaming his Alabama education. JC Latham, that's the frustrating thing with JC Latham on this, because he is a pro. Like, JC Latham talks like a pro, operates like a pro, because of his time being at IMG Academy and being on his own from such a young age at IMG Academy, leaving his hometown to go down there for high school football, to being a fight. Like, that's the thing I've always said about JC Latham is the guy was an ultimate high school athlete who transferred to the factory to create better high school football players and other sports. And then he was a 5-star talent on the offensive line, went to Alabama, won national championships, and then became a top 10 draft pick. So he's literally lived up to the mark every time, right? He has never been a bust or even close to it at any level. And he's played good so far in the NFL, but now he's dealing with this hip injury. So before we move on about what this impacts the game about, I think just to kind of go over the injury itself. So JC is saying it's a hip situation. It's a strain. It's not a pain tolerance thing. It's a, I can't do it. It's my body will not let me do the physical actions and activity, the athleticism. I don't have it because of this situation. So this is not a, I'm hurt. This is a very clear, I'm injured. And when you're injured and you can't do something, there's no point, or it's actually a detriment to try to play through it for everybody involved.
Yeah, and what this means not only for this game, obviously in the immediate, it sucks because you're going to have to go against arguably the second best pass rushing group that you're going to face all season. Well, I guess you could throw the Texans in there, but one of the top two, one of the top three, I guess, without JC Latham, which isn't great. Although if this was a lingering issue already before the Broncos game, how much does that really change the outlook of what happened last week? I think in terms of this week, it is what it is. We'll talk about who gets to fill in his stead here just in a second. But even past that, this to me feels like a thing that may linger or has the potential to linger throughout the season. And so how do the Titans play this? Do they wait for it to fully heal before getting him back out there? Does it get to a point where it is a load management type thing and we're going to have to see him play maybe down a peg like this entire season? It's just not a good situation, because you thought that this was a season that JC Latham could really, turn it on and get back to his original position at right tackle and be that stalwart right tackle that you really needed. And now there's the potential for him to essentially play not to his potential all season.
Yeah, and to me, because Jeff's like, oh, is he out versus the Colts next week? I have no idea, because I think the right thing to do right now is to rest, because JC said it's rest and it's a medication and treatment is what is going to help JC's hip get better. And Edward saying Latham is another wasted top 10 pick. You guys are so dramatic. It is wildly insane. 3-14, here we come. Good Lord, guys. I mean, JC Latham's
the next comment. Callie is doomed.
Yeah,
this is supposed to be a good news Friday. I was informed that we were supposed to have good news today
at the end of the show.
Oh, okay. We're allowed to.
That's the reason why Zach and I put good news at the end of the week, is because there's a bunch of crap that we talk through and a bunch of negativity and controversy that we get through. We have to end the show every week with, let's say something positive. So, and Lucas, you're correct. Austin, how many times do I got to say the chat is delusional? The chat is wild. Scott, injuries happen, y'all. Yep, that's what we talk about with the Bone and Joint Institute. Richard just says they're realistic. No, in no way can you say that JC Latham is a waste of a top 10 pick. He has been good up until now. He is hurt and injured. So what are you going to do about that? So let's talk about this overall with this game. This is an open-ended question, which we usually don't do. We usually like to give you guys options because it's easier on you guys. But open-ended, how does JC Latham being out affect your thoughts on a potential Titans Week 2 win? How does JC Latham being out affect your thoughts on a potential Titans Week 2 win against the Rams? So I'm curious to see where you guys are going to go with this. Open-ended question here to start off the show. But first, I'm going to tell you guys about the Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. We had our workers' comp policy. I tell you guys is a work in progress. It's always a fluid policy, because when we keep adding employees in different states, you have to update that workers' comp policy. And so as fluid as that is, it's great to know that Zach and I don't have to do a dang thing with it, because the Barton Drury team takes care of all of those turns and twists and steps along the way to make sure that we stay updated with that workers' comp policy. And we are completely hands off. That is a nice thing as a business owner to not have to worry about. Same thing goes with our health coverage for our employees. We got our employee benefits through Barton Drury Insurance Group. I know Zach's got some personal things and policies with him with Barton Drury Insurance Group. And we're helping you guys out too, because if you call Barton Drury Insurance Group and use that phone number on the screen, 615-806-1265, if you call them and say, heard about you on A to Z Sports, I want to see if you can help me save money with my insurance, whether it's home, boat, rental, auto, life, whatever, they can do that. So it's call them, ask, hey, I want to see if you can save me money. I heard about you on A to Z Sports, and you will be entered to win a Titans jersey of your choice via us at A to Z Sports. So check them out online at bartondrew.com, and the phone number 615-806-1265.
Yeah, can't wait for whoever decides to get that Oli Udo jersey at the end of this month.
Of your choice.
It's gonna be a good one. Also have to shout out our title sponsor, BTA Sports, Better for Betters. We have a video with them coming out, kind of taking you through all the ins and outs of the app later. But let me tell you, smart bets, no guesswork. It starts here with BTA. I was watching the game last night, decided to check out the lines for the Packers-Commanders game. I believe the line was at -3. The Packers were favored by 3 points. BTA had them favored with their own line that they use with their analytical projections and lines and the formulas and everything that they have. They had them a favorite of a touchdown. 7.89, I believe, was the number that they had. And so I decided to say, hey, let's ride with them. And I took that Packers line from -3 and I took it all the way up to 6.5. And guess what? It cashed. The Packers won by 8, which is pretty close to what the BTA line was. And you too can also start making more money this season with BTA. Once again, they're not a sports book. They're here to help you guys out. They're here to help us out. Use code ATOZ when you download the BTA Sports app to get the full season pass for $99 plus a 14-day free trial. Only available through September. We're almost halfway. So you only got about, 18 or 19 days left to get in on this offer. Use the link in the description of either the YouTube show or the Facebook show as well.
All right. So, yeah, make sure you hit that BTA link in the chat. Didn't Austin say the Commanders were 70% to cover? I misread the app. That was my fault. I was distracted by Easton's technology issues, and I misread the app. So no, it was the other way around. But I didn't take anything. So there you go. All right. So JT, I'll send you the chat. We're asking the question: with JC Latham out, how does that affect your thoughts on a potential Week 2 Titans win? King VC says, "Lock in and like the show." So if you have not liked the show yet, please do. Because we need more likes, just flat out. We see Facebook likes on our stream right here. I don't see YouTube likes, but we need more likes, and I'll get more people in here having this conversation. So, JT, where are you at? Where do you see with how JC Latham's status of out affects this potential Titans Week 2 win?
Yeah, make sure you guys lock in and like the show. We need more likes. You are right about that one. Joe says that he's starting the Rams D in fantasy. Apparently. So that's how he feels there. Lee says put him on IR. That is certainly
I mean,
it's a question. It's a thought.
We have no information other than what JC Latham told us.
Yes, exactly.
They could put him on an IR, and they would not do that until Saturday, likely. So Saturday afternoon during the first quarter of Tennessee, Georgia at 3 p.m. Central Time. If the Titans send an email out, which they usually do, we'll talk about that, what that email will consist of. But that would be the idea. That would be the time where JC Latham would go on injured reserve, which means that player, whoever, has to miss at least 4 games. But it would be a Saturday transaction. Yes, so just again, I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying that the timeline for it to happen would be Saturday, 3 p.m. Central.
Yeah. In terms of what this means for the Titans this Sunday, Zachary says that a Titans win is not happening. Hassani says 0-2. Curtis just has a cigarette emoji. So it sounds like it's going to be another rough. It's another rough weekend for him. Troy, with a little bit more optimism, he says take the Titans and the points here. John says that their chances drop drastically. Let's see what else here. Joe, once again, says it dooms them. Literally no shot. Tim says there will be 2 more sacks this weekend with JC Latham out. Bobby says Ward is going to get killed. RAS says Callie needs to throw away the slow developing plays. I do think that's a big one. And we'll talk about this. Who has the upper hand? You have to get the ball out quick, no matter what. I think you have to get the ball out quick already, even if you had JC Latham. And you have Dan Moore on the other side. Once again, this is a pass rush that is just like they're going to rotate guys in and they're going to all pin their ears back and just come after you no matter what. So the ball has to come out lightning quick no matter what. Eric says the same thing. Quick passes. Got to get the ball out quick. So short routes. Jeff says routes. Sorry.
Okay. I was about to say.
My bad.
Jeff, where are you from?
Jeff, I thought they were going to lose. Now I'm hammering the Rams to cover even more. Let's see.
We will update the BTA line for Titans Rams later in the show.
Yeah, I think Jeff, you might, if you want to hammer the Rams to cover, you might like what BTA has to say about that one. Darius says a lot. The pass rush is nasty for LA. Hopefully Cam and Callie get the quick game going. And doesn't change. They were going to get blown out of the water anyways. This is crazy because we'll get to this later in the show. Like, if you had to ask me which game do you think the Titans get blown out in between the Broncos and the Rams before the season started, I would have probably said the Broncos game is the one they get blown out in. But, like, I feel like it's very different this week, even with just a simple JC Latham injury is having us talk about that this week is the more likely week that they get blown out. Eric says not as confident. Scott says becomes definitely more difficult. So certainly an uphill battle.
So I did favorite the Roz's comments where you said Callie needs to throw away the slow developing plays. I mean, if you want a running back or a tight end to chip a tackle, that usually means there's a slower developing route on the other side of that. You know, they kind of go hand in hand at times. So, JT, I'll let you answer this first. What do you think about this? Like, how does this – I'm not asking you – however you want to describe it. If JC Latham is healthy, what does that mean for where you think this game's at versus now that he's out? How does this affect it?
I certainly think that not having JC Latham hurts the Titans. I don't think it is as doom and gloom as everybody in the chat is saying. I think no matter what, going back to that point there, like, it was going to have to happen this way no matter what. They were going to have a quick passing game. They were going to have to get the ball out quick. I think not only against this defense, but just to get Cam Ward going a little bit, get this offense off the ground. I think you have to have this team start to have a little bit more success if they ever want to develop. But short passing game, I think the idea that Chig and Gunnar Helm are going to have to chip a lot. I think they run a lot of jumbo sets. Like we'll talk about this in a second, like John Ojukwu, Blake Hance, all those guys. I think John Ojukwu is elevated on game day, and he's going to be a big part of being that, glorified blocker as the eligible receiver type guy there this week. Like, they're going to have to find ways to get them the ball very quickly and find other ways to protect Cam Ward.
So Garrett says it looked pretty gloomy last week when Latham went out. It did.
Yes.
This is off the top of my head. I think I said it on Monday or Tuesday that when JC Latham went out after that, with Oli Odu at right tackle, Cam Ward was 2 for 8 passing, 3 sacks, and a intentional grounding for like 13 yards. It was not good.
Yeah.
And it started with the 2 back-to-back sacks after the muff punt. Will Bowling told this story from his vantage point of being on the sideline as the Titans Radio 7 reporter that JC comes off the field in pain as the Titans are punting the football. He slams his helmet down. He's not happy. And then the muff punt happens and he goes, kind of had to rally himself back together, picks up his helmet, runs back out there, and then does the one play and then comes right back out and is unhappy again. And so the first play after that muff punt was a short run. And then he comes out and then Odu goes in there and then Cam takes back-to-back sacks, loses 1 million yards, and the Titans punt again. So just no good. No good.
And that also is the one, like, you're going to have to find a way for one of these tight ends to have success in the pass blocking or run blocking, because on that drive as well where he gets sacked. That's the one where you had Gunnar Helm getting teed off on by a Denver edge rusher last week.
And Dan Moore blocked down to nobody. That was the other one. So I'm glad you brought that up because I was trying to think of what the other version was. Is Dan Moore blocks down, leaving Gunnar Helm 1-on-1, and Dan Moore just stood there and looked for he was just doing that thing.
And that's another thing, right? Like it's not going to be like last week. You heard from Bill Callahan yesterday. Like this group has to be better. I imagine they bounce back a little bit this week. So like outside of the right side, I have a little bit more confidence being at home, another game under their belt, like for the other 4 guys on the line to really gel and get a lot better. I think when you look at this team, they're going to have to, and I think it's on Dan Moore to do a lot of the heavy lifting this week, which is not something you want to ask of, but he's getting paid all that money. So I sure as hell hope that he does have a bounce back game. So I think the rest of the line is going to be better, but you're certainly going to have, I think RAS brings it up right here. Callahan should have Chig in good situations like Green Bay did with Kraft last night. You're going to be using him a lot, I think, in this game. The tight ends in general, I think Gunnar Helm and Chig are going to be a lot of like play action, chip block, a little route out to the outside. Like that's what you're going to need to do to stay alive in this game.
Yeah. A couple comments I wanted to get to. Let's see here. Eric says 2-8 passing, including how many drops. And that's a good point because I don't know exactly. So there's, Dan Orlovsky said he counted 8 drops. There were not 8 drops. You look at Pro Football Reference, I believe they have 3 drops counted because here's what I think the discrepancy is. Gunnar Helm's second or first catch that was overturned of the game, Dan Orlovsky probably counted that as one of his 8 drops. That's the only way you could possibly climb to 8 is if you include that one, right? So that doesn't count. I don't know if Orlovsky counted the 2 seam balls that were high and hot that Ridley and Chig could not get because they just got a fingertip. I don't know if Orlovsky counted that. That might be a way to get to 8 drops. But 3 were the ones, 2 of them were on Calvin, and then 1 was on Ellick. And so I know for a fact that 2 of the Calvin ones were in that 2 for 8 after JC went out. So, and those would have been I don't know if they would have been explosive plays, but they would have been like 15 plus yards or so. If Calvin had brought both those in. So that is a factor overall there. And Charles brings up Rams did that versus the Texans because of pass rush, but the Titans said, no, we're going 11 personnel 70% of the time versus the Broncos. Yeah, it's a good point. The Titans are going to have to go probably more 2 tight end sets. I think in this game, just because you need just a little bit of extra something there on both tackles. Now, I think we all kind of agree that the pass rush for the Rams is not quite as crazy good and demonic as the Broncos is.
I would say that the top end is not there, but the floor is higher.
Like the depth is higher.
Yes.
Okay.
Like they don't have Jared versus a young star.
Jared versus a stud, right? Yes. No doubt.
But he's
like
not
Byron Young.
Yeah, he's not Nick Benito right now in what he has, I think.
For sure. And Byron Young is a really good player, former Vol. Great story, from being homeless at one point to now he's like.
He was working at where? I remember this story, hearing it.
Dollar General.
Dollar General. I was going to say Walmart for some reason. But
no, it was Dollar General. Working at Dollar General, playing like JUCO football, homeless or whatever, and then gets to become an SEC player and was like a decent draft pick of the Rams and now is playing pretty damn good. More 2 tight end sets, as Charles says, is probably smart. Devin says the Rams line is beat up too, aren't they? Yeah. But I feel like their starters are probably trending more likely to play the longer the week goes on. I'm not exactly sure what that looks like. We'll find out more obviously this afternoon.
Yeah. I think it's going to be really interesting. That's going to be the biggest injury report to watch because when we get into previewing this game a little bit, I'll touch on that in a second.
Perfect. All right. So let's ask this question. The Titans have 4 options to play at right tackle. We're going to go through those 4 options. We're going to rank the 4 options. Ranking the 4 options, and I will tell you there's only 4 because the 5th option we have decided to not involve in this. The 5th option is I literally think if I had you on my shoulders, we would together be better than Nicholas Petit-Frere at right tackle. The guy is terrible. So Easton on top of Austin's shoulders would be the 5th option. It is not going to be involved in the rankings, but we're going to rank the options at right tackle. Udo, like Hance, John Njoku, or the rookie Crenshaw Dixon. So those are the 4 we're going to rank. So get your rankings ready. Udo, Hance, Njoku, and Crenshaw Dixon. Ranking those 4 right there. But first, going to tell you guys about our friends and hope my new friends, possibly, at Window Nation. WindowNation.com is where to go. What I did a couple mornings ago, went to WindowNation.com. I punched in get a free estimate, and I put in my info, put in my phone number, my address, all this kind of stuff. And then I got a call like an hour and a half later. It was like right before the show was going to start to set up that free estimate and the free visit to the house. But I was like, hey, can you call me back later? And so they're coming next Friday, a week from today. Got the appointment. It's super easy. It's a 1-hour appointment for them to come check out the windows. They ask more information. How many windows do I have? Why I want to replace them? What I'm interested in? All this kind of stuff. And they have their best deal of the year going on right now. September is a massive opportunity for you guys to cash in on our new sponsor deals. Window Nation's one of them. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, 0 payments needed until 2027. So it's 2 years. The Titans will be playing football games in the new Nissan Stadium before you have to owe anything on these new windows. 0 financing, 0 down payment, 0 monthly payment, whatever is necessary. You get 2 free years to figure out how you want to pay off these windows. And that's pretty impressive. On top of getting 2 windows free for every 2 that you pay for. It's an incredible deal. You only have this month to do it. I got them coming to the house next week from today. I'm looking forward to seeing what this looks like. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, no payments for 2 years at windownation.com.
You also got to shout out BTA Sports, better for betters. Like I said earlier, they helped me get the week 2 off to a winning start last night with their projected model for the Packers, and they can help you out with every game this upcoming slate this weekend, whether it's the spread, whether it's the total, player props, things like that. They have it all over there. BTA has it for you. And with this special deal for the month of September, you can get the app for $99 plus a 14-day free trial, only available through September. Use the link in our show descriptions. Once again, whether you're a casual fan or a betting junkie, BTA's tools break down the numbers so you can trust your gut and the data. Your edge every week, BTA Sports.
All right, so we're ranking the Titans 4 options to play at right tackle with JC Latham out. Oli Udo, who came in when JC Latham got hurt mid-game last week. There's John Njoku, Blake Hance, who is a veteran on the roster that they like to play a lot of different positions, really everything outside of center on the O-line. And then the rookie Brennan Crenshaw Dixon. JT, to the chat you go. What are you seeing?
Daniel starts us off here and says Njoku, Udo, Hance, and then Braden Crenshaw Dixon.
BCD
right
I
there.
Like
Orlando just not using any of them. He thinks these 4 options are better than anything the Titans have, which is 1, Easton, not both of you, just Easton. 2, Big Jeff playing right tackle. 3, put Bill Callahan out there, get him on the right side of the line, and then moving Dan Moore over to play right tackle. Who plays left then? I'm not sure there. Curtis says, let BCD rock this week. David says, Jesus, take the wheel. Trail says they should give Hance a chance. Darius with the Darius here with the rankings says Hance, Udo, Njoku, and BCD. John says BCD, Hence, Njoku, and Udo, putting Udo last there. Let's see. JR says Dennis Daly should get back out there. Is he available? I think he is.
All those players are available.
Yeah. Brian says BCD, Njoku, Udo, and Hance. Jonathan just says straight up they are screwed there at the right tackle position.
Can I tell you my favorite
yes
options? I like tall Texans. Bad, suck, horrible, unplayable.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'm guessing bad is Udo, suck as a JUCO. Hanson's horrible, and Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon is unplayable.
Yes.
I think Todd Texan did nail something. I don't think BCD is playable right now.
Correct.
So that is something there. I like that comment.
It's a good one. Also, there is no like consensus here.
So Oli Udoh is a 7-year veteran.
Correct.
John Ojukwu we've seen here a lot over the last couple of years. Blake Hance, we really haven't seen much.
Mm-hmm.
I think Crenshaw Dixon is out, right? We're removing him.
Yes.
He is over there with Easton and I.
He's got like, for the same people that say like they want to see BCD out there and like let BCD cook are the same people that are going to come in here on Sunday after the game and complain about the penalties because he has 2 false starts and a hold. Like,
yeah,
he's just not ready. He's not ready for NFL action.
Absolutely not. But he's got upside, and that's why they
absolutely.
kept him as the 11th offensive lineman on the 53-man roster back in the day. So, I kind of want to. So here's what I don't think John Ojukwu is any good. I think he's.
Well, none of these guys are a great.
I know because that's the state of the NFL. If you're starting tackles down, you're in a bad spot. And I'm kind of more curious of what Blake Hance can do. I don't think it's gonna be I don't think that's what they're gonna do. I think they're gonna do Oli Udoh, but I'm curious at what Blake Hance looks like out there.
Yeah, I think it ultimately is Udoh. Like that's the guy through and through that they've put out there throughout the preseason, the training camp, everything like that. Like he is the guy that's out there getting those reps on both sides. So I think he is their main swing tackle. I have a little bit higher eval on a guy like Ojukwu. Like I think in moments he looks really good and can be promising and stable there. But I think they ultimately go with Udoh. I think Ojukwu, no matter what, is going to be out there because I think as how much they used him last year as that glorified second tight end in those 2 tight end sets, like you see more of that this week. I think it's Udoh, but there's also the possibility that they go back to an old classic like last year and do the rotating door, which is you get some snaps, you get some snaps, you get some snaps. It's all possible, but I think I agree with you. It's going to be Udoh, and then I think Ojukwu is second for me, and then maybe Hance gets in there. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most likely order to go. I'm curious what Blake Hance looks like because I think I know what the others do.
Yeah,
now,
certainly. He's played every position there. So,
yeah, Dylan says he's joking. He says, move Peter to right tackle. And then Zach says, no, put those fingers down, Brian Windhorst. But Zach says, slide Zeitler out for 1 game and put Slater at right guard. Also, no. Like, what? No. Like, Kevin Zeitler is not a tackle. He's been a guard for 15 years. Don't do this. And then, of course, you get somebody calling for Taylor Lewan, who I don't even think could play tight end at this point. I think Taylor Lewan is a wide receiver type build at this point. So it's going to be ugly. They're going to have to use the 2 tight end sets. They're going to have to use Tony Pollard in the chipping game as well, which, I don't, nobody wants to do that, but you have to do that. And I think, is this going to tank them or not?
They're like, it's hard to say no. Like it's hard to say that because like I want to say that there's a way that they are able to scheme up, but just like last week, like do you trust Callahan to do that and get his guys firing on all cylinders? That's the question.
They've bounced back every opportunity so far since training camp started. They have been on a roller coaster. They've had the down practices and they followed it up with a good one. They've had a down practice and followed up with a good one. I think that's, they've until they don't bounce back, I'm expecting them to bounce back and play better, cleaner.
It's going to be a tall challenge, and you're going to you're you're not going to see the same formation out there like back to back. I feel like every play might be different because you're going to have to compensate for that right tackle position.
Yep. All right, so let's talk positive now. Not for good news, but just for advantages. Okay, good news is coming up later. But where do the Titans have their biggest advantage over the Rams? That's what we want to dive into next. Where do the Titans have their biggest advantage over the Rams? And Brian Callahan did kick off the week talking about the LA Rams at his press conference on Wednesday. So here is Brian Callahan.
Looking forward to this weekend's matchup against the Rams. Really good football team. You know, they played really well last year, deep into the playoffs. Good defense, good offense, solid special teams unit. I think the edge players on defense are really, really good players. Those guys have anchored that defense. They play with great effort on defense. They're pretty relentless in terms of their pursuit and their rush and how they play. They play really well together. They do a great job with their coverage structure and the looks and the holding disguises and all those things. So it's a good test for us. Offensively, obviously, I think Matthew Stafford is one of the best quarterbacks in football. He's played at a high level for a really long time. We got a really nice challenge there with them. They're really good at running the football. They're committed to it. They do a great job marrying their play action game off of it. They put people in some pretty good conflict when it comes to those things. So we got to be on top of it. We got to play really good defense. We got to tackle well, stop the run. Those are critical components to this game. And then when we have chances to match up, they got two really good receivers and a group of guys that complement them in the passing game. So good football team all the way around. You can tell they're a playoff caliber football team, and it's another one here in the first 2 weeks we got to go handle. And looking forward to being back at home.
And the home opener there against the Rams, there's Brian Callahan. So a lot of comments coming in about what the Titans' biggest advantage is over the Rams. We'll get to those answers, but JT, tell us all about Botero carts.
Yeah, Botero carts. Life is short. Buy a golf cart. Like I said earlier in the week, the absolute cheat code this past weekend when I was out eating with friends and family is that I saw a family with a golf cart just parallel park in a spot that a car wasn't big enough. And I was like, that is smart. And that is one of the reasons why you got to buy a golf cart, and you got to do it with our friends over at Botero Carts. Listen, 0% financing for 36 months, carts starting at just $6,700. They're open 7 days a week, full service sales and rental dealer. Locally owned and operated with 2 locations here in Gallatin and a new one in Columbia. No dealer fee, no credit card fees. So you're going to get the best deal possible here with no strings attached. Got to check them out, Botero Carts.
And with BTA, better for bettors, download the BTA Sports app, use our code ATOZ Sports, or click the link in our description, and they'll go directly to the App Store to download that app. And then you get a 14-day free trial. And then the season pass is only $99. So you're trying to win better bets. You're trying to be better at fantasy football, daily fantasy included, for how to choose your lineups and everything there. Also, the Titans prediction right now is not looking good. So if you want to do a Rams -5.5, probably a good chance that you're walking away with more money on Sunday afternoon. So with BTA, download that app. Again, a 14-day free trial and a $99 season pass subscription to help you win more money. You get that money back pretty easily. I'm already like halfway through to it over on BTA Sports.
Basically made 75% back last night.
Yeah, I'm 50% back. JT's 75% back. It's just week 2. All right. So with BTA Sports, download that app today. So to the chat you go, JT, again. It is biggest advantage the Titans have over the Rams.
Yeah, I think a lot of the conversation here is, well, first of all, J-Rum says advantage. Do we have an advantage over any team? I guess.
So negative.
Tighten Up says, I am excited to see our defense play against their offense. As far as our offense, just sticking with glass half full, defense should compete 100%. I think the defense is absolutely an advantage for the Titans this week. JR says he's already preparing by elevating Stafford. Anthony says the offensive line, right? Just because their line is hurt doesn't mean anything. I think they won't be playing at 100%. That's for sure. Eric says we don't have an advantage against the Hall of Fame quarterback, so it's our offense short pass game is the advantage there. Dylan Devin says the advantage right now is the humidity in the Great One, which I think is very.
It is
funny.
going to be really hot.
Yes.
And here's something too: the Great One has the Little Great One.
Correct.
So does that disrupt the Great One's abilities? I don't know.
I have great question.
This is our first. This is our first.
This is first go around.
Yeah.
Titan Kyle says interior pressure with their guards banged up. Tall Texan says home field is the only advantage, and Andrew immediately afterwards says they don't have an advantage. Jonathan with a special teams might be an advantage by saying don't be surprised to see a fake punt Sunday.
Seriously though,
could be a good option for them to get whatever they can get against the Rams here. JR says Ridley got to put super glue on his hands to get that advantage this week. Mike on top of that says then put on his gloves and put super glue on that as well. So super glue the gloves to your hands and then put super glue on those there. Yeah, so it's going to need to be getting after that interior offensive line for the Titans defense and getting Calvin Ridley the ball in the short passing game. Sounds like
what's your answer? Is it the D-line?
Partially, yes. I think you're going to have to. It's a different type of quarterback than last week, right?
Yeah.
We talked to Brian Callahan on Wednesday and asked him basically, right, this defense last week did not get a lot of pressure. They did not generate a lot of pressure. And Brian Callahan kind of pushed back on that and said, that was a little bit by design because he's such a mobile quarterback. He can get outside the pocket. Well, Matthew Stafford is not doing much of that anymore. He's going to, for lack of a better term, park and bark for the most part in the back of that behind the line of scrimmage. So you're going to have to get more pressure. And I think you can do it with the interior of this defense. And I think you're able to really mitigate this run game, right? They have a run game in Kyron Williams that isn't the most efficient. Like last week, he averaged 3.7 yards per attempt, only 2.3 yards after contact per attempt. So like you're going to be able to stop the run game pretty easily, which if they're able to do that, then allows you to focus a lot more on the outside receivers, which I think is the Rams' biggest advantage. And we'll get to that in a second. But getting after that interior, stuffing the run game, and not letting any of that going is probably the biggest advantage and one of the biggest keys for the Titans this week.
Yeah. Matt Stafford is not exactly the most mobile person at this point, especially with his back situation going on. So that's definitely something to test. I'm going to go off the board here a little bit. I do think Calvin Ridley plays a lot better. I don't. Is this by textbook the answer? The biggest advantage the Titans have? No, but there's a big difference in the Rams corners versus the Broncos corners.
Yes,
I think that might be the biggest difference between the two opponents for the Titans week to week. So when you look last year, Ridley struggled against the Bears and was not very productive against Chicago. Week 2, he came home, and against the Jets, he had like 70-something yards and had this sliding deep touchdown from Levis. I forget who the corner was for the Jets, but it was like
I don't believe it wasn't Sauce Gardner because last year Sauce Gardner was only playing on one side of the field, so they just moved Calvin Ridley to the other side. Didn't have to worry about it.
All right, but it was a wild throw and like a crazy weird catch through multiple hands and stuff into the end zone. So I think Calvin takes that to heart. I know he said he's moving forward. It was a really bad game, and he was bad. We all know that, and I would already be 100% my money paid back on BTA if Calvin Ridley just caught the ball, because I took the over on Ridley like around 50 and a half, and the yards were there. And if he just catches the ball, the yards are there. So I really like Calvin Ridley's bounce back ability. Charles said, don't forget about the Van Jefferson revenge game, playing his former team that he has a ring with. I mean, Van should have a touchdown catch on the season.
Yeah.
Right. We saw it. We know what it is. And I think, I think there's opportunities to win on the outside against this Rams defense. You got to be quick though, right? like what you've talked about earlier on about the right tackle situation. How do you get the ball to him quick? Another thing that I want to go back and call back from last year, when Ridley, after the Colts game, I want to say was the blow up that he had in the locker room about like, you got to throw me the ball early. Don't expect me to just be cold the whole game and catch 3rd and 8 in the 4th quarter when you need me and I haven't touched the ball yet. Give him the ball early. They struggled to do that last week. He didn't have a target until maybe the late 2nd quarter or second half. I don't know. But give him the ball early. Go to him early. Get it set up to where he can get in a rhythm. I know that matters at that position. So I think Ridley has a nice game.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to need big things from him this week. And does that take us to our next question, which is?
Well, I was gonna look up the BTA line that Ridley has to see if it's out yet.
Gotcha.
Overall. So let's see what we got here. If you want to keep an eye on the chat, see what they might be looking at while
I think
digging this up.
If Calvin Ridley, Daniel brings up Alec, could be another guy that, you know, that inside breaking route could be something you try to get him. Garrett says, give him screens where he's out in space, make someone miss. Well, they tried to last week, and he didn't know that he was
allegedly,
I guess. But yeah,
again,
everyone's going to have to
allegedly. Allegedly, Calvin Ridley was the target, but nobody knew, and allegedly there was confusion pre-snap.
Yeah, so Edward says 55 yards on FanDuel is his over-under this week.
I was trying to pull it up on my app. If I can operate.
And Daniel says they tried to hit Alec deep a lot last week. I think that continues. I think there was a lot of talk in here that like Gunnar Helm could be another guy that they continue to try to use very, very early on.
Yeah.
And what this run game looks like for the Titans this week, because it's going to be just as important as ever. And I think they run a lot left more than they do right. It's going to be important to get that going as well, because the Rams can pin their ears back and do that. And I think this is a gettable team in the running game as well. Like, you look at the game against the Texans last week, you certainly have a better running back in there than Nick Chubb and Dare Ogunbowale and Woody Marks and Damian Pierce. Like, Tony Pollard will be able to do more than those guys did. And a lot of their inefficiencies last week for the Texans against the Rams were simply because all those guys either are bad or washed. So.
Yeah. So 55, and if I see 55.5 is that number for Ridley, I think it's an over that. BTA has the sliders starting at 67, which again, like the yards were there last week. It's just he dropped them. I'm not counting the seam ball. I'm counting the dig and what was the other one? I guess they're kind of both in cutting routes to an extent. But yeah, the one that made Cam's dad lose his mind. So like they're there, and I think they're going to be even more focused on getting him involved early on. So, all right, now let's flip it to the other side. Let's go ahead. Where do the Rams have the biggest advantage over the Titans? And JT, this is where the Bone and Joint Institute comes to play.
Yeah, Bone and Joint Institute, BJI, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics and sports medicine, boneandjointtn.org. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who to trust. The Bone and Joint Institute is located in Franklin with over a dozen specialists who can help you through any type of injury. They have a state-of-the-art rehab facility on campus to help you recover. Bone and Joint can do everything under one roof for your convenience on that campus, whether it's clinicking, testing, imaging, surgery, and rehab. You got to go check them out if you are ever hurt in life. Don't fumble your recovery. To schedule an appointment, go to boneandjointtn.org.
All right, BTA, we've been talking about them a lot today. It's probably going to be a lot of Fridays where BTA is going to be worked into the content, to the show a little bit for some extra analysis. But download the app. Use our code ATOZ Sports, ATOZ, and then, or you can click that link to help out, download the app. 14-day free trial, $99 season pass until September ends right there. So BTA Sports, be on our team with BTA as they are all trying to take down the sports book.
Yeah, one more, Austin, real quick. If I can say one more thing about them. They have one team having a huge advantage in the Chiefs-Eagles game. That they're projecting one team to be way better than the other, and that line at most books is Chiefs plus 1.5. And they have a team winning that game by a touchdown or more.
Oh,
so I'm not going to tell you who.
You don't say.
I'm not going to tell you who. Like, go use BTA and find out which one it is. But that could be yet another bet where I am taking one side and pushing that line up to get some extra coin. So
there you go. All right. So I think the advantage the Rams have, Jonathan says coaching. Jay says Rams have an experienced Super Bowl quarterback and good wide receiver. Yes. Hell Lady just says everywhere. Jeff says everywhere. John says coaching. Darius, this is the edge rushers in the O-line versus the O-line. Head coach by far. So I think that's something that you guys did a good job in the chat today. We asked the biggest advantage, and you guys went to probably the biggest advantage. The guy who has a Super Bowl ring and been to another one versus the guy who is currently 3-15 as a head coach.
Yes.
That's, like I said, like the biggest difference for the Titans offense week to week is the drop-off of Pat Surtain to the Rams corners and Riley Moss to the Rams corners. I think the drop-off, the difference between Sean McVay and Brian Callahan is pretty wide. For resumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And I think that is a big advantage for the Rams. However,
let me clean something up. Titan says, didn't BTA also say 70% likelihood that +3 was going to hit for the Commanders? I misread the app. JT read the app correctly. JT won. JT said he nailed it on that one.
I think the last time I felt this concerned about an opposing team's wide receiver core and how much they could just terrorize a Titan secondary was probably the first time this team ever played, or a Titans team ever played Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins during that insane year. I feel the same way with them as I do back then. Like Puka Nacua and to an extent Devontae Adams, I think have the opportunity to absolutely tear up this secondary, because we'll see how L'Jarius Sneed looks, how much more he gets, how many more snaps he gets this week. Like if he does end up doubling his snaps or playing at least like a good 55-60% of this game, maybe that opinion changes. But if it is the status quo and we have Jarvis Brownlee Jr. and Darrell Baker out there, like there's a world where I think Puka Nacua goes for 120 plus. Like I just think he's that good. And I think against these corners, he is going to get his own, especially with Stafford.
Well, here's what I think is so good about Sean McVay, and this is a shout out to our guy, Teron Davenport. He did his Whiteboard Wednesday about this, is that Sean McVay is so good at getting Puka Nacua the correct matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And they use it via motion. If the Titans are in a man defense, they will motion or a zone even, motioning a tight end to the outside of the formation that puts Puka in the slot and more likely to be covered by the slot corner or a safety than the outside corner. And then you've got two matchups, Puka versus the slot defender, and then the tight end versus the usually smaller outside defender. And I think that's just what Sean McVay does. And then Puka Nacua is perfectly set up to take advantage of his skill set to maximize all of that. And so I think Dixie says McVay also has an infinitely more creative run game than Sean Payton. Titans defense will have their hands full. So look, the Titans defense did a fantastic job against Bo Nix and the Broncos offense. And that's with Sneed only playing, a third of the game.
Yes.
I think Sneed's going to play more than that this week. I think Puka, I don't know what to expect. Devontae Adams has not hurt the Titans in a while.
It's true. And to like Tall Texans here, where he says Tyreek Hill is way different than the Rams wide receivers. I wasn't correlating both those, like comparing the two there. I was saying I have the same feeling that a wide receiver is going to absolutely destroy the Titans like I did in that game. Now, it didn't come to fruition, but it's the same feeling this week that I think Puka Nacua, if you get him on Jarvis Brownlee Jr., there's a really good chance you're going to have the same amount of penalties as last week, because I think Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is going to be a big disadvantage against Puka, and I think that's what they're going to try to attack.
Yeah, Joe says Devontae owned the Titans in Green Bay, but how many years ago was that? At this point? that's what I'm saying. That was I don't even know what last season Devontae Adams played in Green Bay, and in the last was he on that team in 2022? No, he was with the Raiders at that point.
Had to be. Because that was that the last year of Aaron Rodgers where they had Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs and things like that?
I don't know anymore.
It's all a blur.
23 and 24, Rodgers. Yeah, 22 was Rodgers last year in Green Bay because that was the Todd Downing DUI flight.
Yes.
But the Titans won the game. I don't remember if Devontae was still there or not. He was in Vegas.
I don't believe he was.
For multiple years. So all this stuff is running together. All of it. Man, I'm getting old, dude. Like you'll understand. You had everything in line up there, but it goes away quickly. All right, let's wrap up this show and this week with some good news. If you have good news, share your good news. To wrap up the week, here we go. Good news time. Let me hit it. Shout out to Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon to help you save some money on that new ride. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go. Before I let JT in the chat for some good news, we will be live on pregame, halftime, postgame. This week, it'll be Easton and I. JT, you will be at Nissan Stadium covering the game in the press box for A to Z Sports. So all of the content that comes out of Nissan Stadium will be via JT and Buck Rising. So that'll be let me leave Easton and I on the game day show. So looking forward to that one there. So that's a little update on that one. So good news time, JT. What's the chat saying?
Yeah, Daniel says good news is that he just booked a trip with friends to Mexico City for Day of the Dead celebration. Gonna be epic.
Oh,
that sounds awesome.
That does sound awesome. That sounds like a bucket list opportunity there. That sounds great.
Eric says good news, going to the casinos in Shreveport.
Come on, you northerner.
I don't know where that is.
Shreveport, Eric, Louisiana.
I don't know where that is. Eric, I have
the longer you you'll know what that is because you're paying attention to SEC football now. Okay, you know what Shreveport's going to be once we get to December.
Fair enough. Eric, if I have one word of advice, just put it all in black first. Either, that's what I would say there. Let's see. Eric Davis says flying to Nashville in a week for vacation.
Nice.
Have fun there. It should be a good one. Devin, this is a huge one, and I agree with this. He says, solid news. Nashville finally filled some potholes on Briley Parkway. Let's go. Huge.
Temporarily.
Yeah, there you go. Williams says 1 year cancer free. Congrats, man. Good to hear there. Brad says, good news. I've officially lost 100 pounds in a little over a year.
Awesome.
Good to see there. D. Christophel says, I am a week away from taking a boring, not spending money vacation from work, and I'm going to love it. Those are sneaky the best when you can just not do anything. Good ones there. It's a lot of the good news in there. Austin, you want to go first?
My good news. I was thinking about this earlier this morning, JT. This is just where my brain's at. My brain is full Vols mode because since Josh Heupel's 5th season, he's had 2 teams that have won 10-plus games in a season. Both years, those 2 teams have had to go to Georgia, between the hedges, at Sanford Stadium, where the dogs are barking, where the Georgia defensive line gets to do that stupid shift to create false starts because it's loud. I think this is the best Tennessee Vols football team that's gotten Georgia to come to Neyland. Because the 2 home games that Josh Heupel's had against Georgia, year 1, weren't ready. Joe Milton year, weren't ready. This is a different – I think this is the best of those 3 teams. And I also think this is the worst of those 3 Georgia teams that's coming to Knoxville. So I don't know what's going to happen. I am not touching it. Not touching it with any line. Any money? No, not. I'm just going to watch and enjoy.
Nice.
That's my good news. Mine
is on a similar note. It's not that I get to watch college football tomorrow. It's where I get to watch college football. My girlfriend in her graduate school program has an event in the afternoon tomorrow at a vineyard. So I'm going to a vineyard to hang out and watch college football. So
that's not a bad time. That is a good news. And you just get to you're a +1 of this. That's even better.
Yes, I'm a +1. I just get to hang out. That's all I need to do. So I just need to be present, and that's good for me. So
that's great. Now Jeff, obviously Debbie Downer, since he's gonna make Stockton look like a Heisman contender, he says your top 2 corners are out, cooked. I mean, the top 2 corners have been out. Like we know that. Like we knew Drew McCoy's been out since January when he tore his ACL in training. We know. And then Colton Hood, good player. Redmond, freshman, so far, good player. He had to come in and play early against Syracuse and isn't bad. But yeah, of course, it's a big test for those 2 corners. But look, I'm not guaranteeing a win at all. I'm just saying this is the best Tennessee team that's hosted Georgia under Josh Heupel. That is my good news for this. Let's see. KSU's favored tonight against Zona. Take Zona all the way. Yeah, Kansas State, struggle city. This year. Garrett says, headed to Vegas tonight for the Canelo Crawford fight tomorrow at Allegiant Field. Nice. Oh, wow. Dr. David.
I was going to say, Garrett, my advice to you is put it all on red. There you go. Someone is guaranteed to win now if you're gambling.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's ever going to Shreveport, put it on black, you might win. Garrett, put it on red. Or maybe it's the inverse and I lose.
That would suck. They both lose. What's the percentage chance? Like 20%? There's a math equation to figure out the percentage chance that they both lose. So Dr. David says, good news. My cousin is a head majorette for the Vols. That's cool.
Nice.
Teletaxon says Georgia versus Tennessee, the same as the Titans game. Huge coaching advantage for Georgia. I mean, yeah, Kirby Smart's a better coach than Josh Heupel, but it is not the same as Sean McVay to Brian Callahan. that is so disrespectful to Josh Heupel. So disrespectful. And Josh Heupel has had to learn. His offense versus Georgia doesn't work the same way. And maybe this is too much Vols talk for this opportunity. Hey, Jeff, thanks. He wants Tennessee to win. I think most of the country wants Tennessee to beat Georgia.
Sure.
I think most of the country is tired of Georgia.
Yeah, it's all not going to matter when South Carolina runs the table and wins the SEC this year. So that's all I know.
Okay. You got your hands full with Vandy this week.
Excited. Going to be a good one.
And that's sneaky. One of the better games on the entire slate.
Yes, I'm excited.
Vandy, South Carolina, honestly, is going to be sick. I kind of want to watch that one. Donald asking me if I'm hate watching Nico. I have not yet because they play so late at night. And I've been doing other things. So, all right, guys, that is it for us on this Friday. JT, enjoy your vineyard experience, college football drinking vineyard experience over the weekend. And we'll touch base with you guys on Sunday. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Like the show, subscribe to our channels, 5-star Google reviews all the way around. And we'll catch you guys on our pregame show 30 minutes before Titans-Rams on Sunday. Thanks, guys. See you.